All right, everyone. For this session, we have with us Rachel Figg, who is at the Hands On Homeschool Co-op, and she's going to be talking to us today. Our topic is about planning for next year. So if you are in the midst of trying to figure out what are you going to do for next year, we've got lots of advice for you. So thanks for joining us, Rachel.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
All right. Let me put your program up here so you can tell us a little bit more about what you got.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to be talking about planning for the next school year, and I really want you to have your best year. So we're going to be talking about how to plan your best homeschool year yet. I'm Rachel Figg. Like Kim said, I am the creator of the Hands On Homeschool, and I love partnering with parents to just really help them to make sure that their homeschool is like the best possible homeschool that it can be. So I'm really passionate about teaching. I've been teaching my whole life, and so that is why I do what I do. I just want to make sure that every homeschool is well-rounded and hands-on and has the resources and things that they need in order to really succeed. And I would love to connect with you. If you are on Facebook or Instagram, I have my handle there is at the Hands On Homeschool. I would love to hear from you about what you took away from this presentation, what you learned, and what you're the most excited about doing for next year. Today, we're going to be talking about how to plan your year, but not just the core subjects. I really am all about the well-rounded homeschool, planning for the enrichment subjects like music, art, STEM, and PE, and how to do that in an easy way without a lot of stress or prep or overwhelm, because typically these are the subjects that are hard to include without being overwhelmed or stressed. So I have an easier way for you to do that, how to put the whole thing together in one cohesive package. And what I do, what is central to all that I do, is hands-on education, hands-on learning, because it is the best way to achieve authentic learning and create and cultivate lifelong learners. If our kids are lifelong learners, if they become lifelong learners, they just it doesn't matter if there's gaps in their education. It doesn't matter if they don't learn every single thing that we've presented or forgot to include or whatever, because they're going to go out and they're going to learn it on their own. And what they do learn, that authentic learning piece, is like taking it to heart, making connections between other things, and just really making their education their own. So those are my goals at the Hands On Homeschool. I love what John Holt says. He says, we learn to do something by doing it. There is no other way. So anything you learn, anything I learn, it's all done by, actually going out and doing it. So that's hands-on learning.
Yep.
So during this presentation, you're going to see how exactly you can do this, how to work through this, and just see how easy it can be to include enrichment subjects in your program, in your homeschool, without a lot of stress or prep, and how it can all be done on your schedule. So that's really important. And we're going to compare this all to an ice cream sundae. Doesn't that look delicious? Mm-hmm. That's like the ultimate homeschool right there, right?
Yeah.
Lots of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So when we think about a well-rounded education, we typically think of our core subject areas. And in South Carolina, these are the ones that are required. But a well-rounded education is so much more than that. And there may be others, I put that there, that may be important to you, that are, that you would include. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But this is kind of what I think of when I think of a well-rounded education. STEM there stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. It's not those topics, those subjects individually, but rather using them to solve problems. It's all about problem solving. So I've had some questions about what is STEM in the past, and I just wanted to clarify.
Sometimes it's STEAM with art in there, which you also have the
yes, and some of our classes do include art. So we do have those in our virtual co-op, some STEAM classes.
Mm-hmm.
And so for everybody that is here with us, watching this presentation today, I have a gift for you, and the link will be down below. And we've got that all ready for you, but you'll get some free classes into our virtual co-op where you can take a music class, an art class, a STEM class, and a PE class with your kids, just to kind of get that, just an idea of what we do at the Hands On Homeschool. All right, we're going to start with ice cream. All right, so you cannot have an ice cream sundae without the ice cream. This is the most important part of a sundae, and we're going to get into exactly what the ice cream in a sundae is. But first, I want to introduce you to my family. And this is my family here. My husband, Chris, and I have been married for 15 years. We live in the upstate. We are in Greer. And we homeschool our kids. We've been homeschooling ever since our oldest was little, when he was 4 and 5. So when we first started out homeschooling, I said, 4 years old, I was doing so many creative things. I was doing like a really hands-on creative job at just pulling in everything that I wanted him to learn. We had books and games, and we would do all of these activities that went along with it. And I felt really creative and really confident in what I was doing. But then along the way, kind of halfway through the kindergarten year, when, things were like compulsory and, I started to feel the pressure of using curriculum, and you don't know what you're really doing. Do you really know how to teach reading? Do you really? Okay, his peers are already halfway through their kindergarten curriculum. Yes. Oh my goodness, it was so much. And I lost my confidence. I was like, tunnel vision, we're just going to do the curriculum. And so what I didn't realize I was doing was I was saying, you can play and you can do all of these things, but did I freeze? I'm so sorry. No. Okay. I said, we can do all of these things. We can do all of these fun things, but after school time. And right. I made this hard distinction between school time and
fun.
Yeah. And said, during school time, we're going to focus and we're going to get these pages done, right? Mm-hmm. These pages. Mm-hmm. And then you can go and do that. And so I was requiring during school all of this performance from him. Performance. And the participation was extra. That was different. Mm-hmm. And so he really resisted. And this is my child he is very strong-willed to begin with by nature. So it just really didn't go well. So all the rest of kindergarten didn't go well. The rest of first grade didn't go well. By this time, my second child was starting to get to kindergarten age. And I said, we have to do something different. And it was around this time where I realized that only requiring this high level of performance and leaving participation to being optional was really hurting our homeschool. So what I did was I just kind of like balanced them out. You still have to have, assess their knowledge and make sure that they're, doing what you need them to do, but elevating the importance of participating, being with my child, connecting, playing games, and not having that distinction of this is school and this is extra, not important. They were both important. That is what truly, in the end, saved our homeschool experience. Mm-hmm. So that is this quote by Elizabeth Foss: when the atmosphere encourages learning, the learning is inevitable. And that's what we need to do. We are more of gardeners cultivating a garden here rather than, just focusing on just, like being in there and you can't make a seed grow, right? But you can cultivate the garden and provide the atmosphere to make it inevitable. So I have two homeschool moms here. We have the frazzled scheduler and the creative learner, or the creative leader, excuse me. And we're going to look at how these two homeschool moms, both of these homeschool moms want the very best homeschool for their kids. They want hands-on. They want it to be well-rounded, but they go about it in very different ways. So we're going to kind of walk through how this looks, starting with the frazzled scheduler. This was me when my kids were in when my oldest was in kindergarten and first grade, I was operating from a to-do list. I was planning out my subjects. I was listing everything out, filling it in with curriculum. And then things started to not work well. And so I was like, okay, cross that out and let's try this. And okay, I can't do this. So let's find a club. Let's find a co-op. Let's find a class. Let's sign everybody up for sports. We're going to sign everybody up for sports. Everybody's up for all of these things. And it didn't work, and it became very reactive. So a lot of times when I see this happening, like homeschooling feeling chaotic, it's because you're comparing and yourself to others, like I was when my oldest was little, and just making those reactive decisions rather than starting at the top with who you are and kind of putting the pieces in place in order. So that is probably, this is the first mistake I see people make, is that you compare yourselves with what other people are doing. If you think about it like ice cream, every ice cream flavor is totally different and unique. And every parent has their own unique flair that they bring to homeschooling. And what you are doing showcases where you are creative and what you have a natural tendency towards. And that's what you need to, really lean into, because that's you and that's your family, and you're leading your children in this way. So we want to make sure that that's starting with you, right? Here, this anonymous quote here I found: comparison kills creativity. That's what happened to me. So stop comparing and start creating. Live creatively. So that's what I see the frazzled scheduler doing. Now, the creative leader is different. The creative leader, I love this from Sir Ken Robinson. He has an amazing TED Talk on how schools are killing creativity. And he talks all about, I love it because he's talking about, I'm sure you've seen it, Kim, how he's talking about like how schools don't need to be reformed. We're past that. They need to be transformed. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, homeschooling. Yes. It's amazing. If you haven't seen that, you need to go and watch his TED Talk. But I love all of that he has to say. He was really big on creativity. And he said the role of a creative leader is not to have all of the ideas, but it's to create a culture where everyone can have ideas and feel that they're valued. So he outlined 3 steps in how to be a creative leader. You encourage creativity, identify creativity, and foster creativity. And you must do these first for yourself and find your own creativity before you can, go to try to find this in your kids, because kids mirror what you do. I have a picture of a mirror. They mirror your attitudes. They mirror your emotions. They mirror all of these things. And so if you are coming across as frazzled and chaotic and stressed, and I don't know how to do this, your kids are going to have a similar attitude. So we have to first work on ourselves and work to create this environment that promotes creativity. Julie Bogart says, if homeschooling stops being a source of joy, begin by shifting your attention to the awesome adult you want to be. And just that shift can inject energy into a flagging homeschool. I love that.
I love it too.
Yeah. So here's some practical ways we can start doing that. And we can start doing it this summer. So you just start playing with your kids. This is a good time to practice because it's summer. You can get out and play and just kind of start working on your like how you are perceiving things, co-creating your summer. I did this with my kids where I told them, think of some themes that we can do for the summer, and then we can do activities that go with this theme, so there's a plan to it, and they see you as being playful, putting creative opportunities in their way, noticing your own and your children's creativity, and providing some creative opportunities for them. And when we look at home planning our year, we can look at what makes you excited. What do you feel excited about? Where do you feel like you can inject your creative energy, your confidence, and your creativity? So not everyone, every homeschool mom is different. We all have a different flavor, but wherever you feel the most creative and confident, that's where you should put your energy and your confidence. So for instance, for me, I am a music teacher, and I also absolutely love science and technology and STEM. So in the virtual co-op, I teach the music and the STEM classes. And then if you as a homeschool mom were to invest in our homeschool co-op, you would allow us, me and the other teachers in there, to showcase our creativity. And that would give you time to focus more of your time and energy in where you feel creative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going to move on and talk about the next part of the puzzle, the next part of our Sunday. But let's just look at these two homeschool moms again. So if you identified more with the frazzled scheduler, you might see yourself, living from a to-do list, reacting when you start comparing yourselves to other homeschools out there, or doing only the core subject areas to make things easier. You might be searching Pinterest to find things, and you're endlessly searching, like the night before, I got to find something for this, or driving your kids all over town trying to get into all of these things. But the creative leader has a better way. She knows that participation needs to be balanced out with the performance, and that participation leads to connection, which leads to better relationships, which is going to be better overall than the to-do list. And she's after creating that garden, right? Cultivating that lifestyle where that learning is inevitable. So next up is the base of our Sunday. Here we have a waffle bowl. Mm-hmm. And this is all about the curriculum. Okay. So the most important part of our homeschool is the parents and our relationship that we have with our kids. But curriculum is a secondary thing, and we need to be strategic when we're choosing it. I love this. Too often we give children answers to remember rather than problems to solve. If we're after that lifelong learning and learning to be authentic for our kids, then we need to go beyond just, finishing our math book mm-hmm. and really go after learning, true learning. So in order to do this, we're going to be doing a little bit of math today. So you might be like, math, I just want to pick out pretty curriculum. But remember, we're doing things differently. We are the creative leader here. We are not, we're not going to be doing something that's going to leave us frazzled, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want that. So we're going to do things differently. So first, you're going to, from a creative leading standpoint, you're going to look at all of the subjects that you want to include this year. And I put them all in this order, because going back to Ken Robinson, he said we need to eliminate the existing hierarchy of the subjects. Elevating some disciplines over others only reinforces outmoded assumptions of industrialism and offends the principle of diversity. The arts, sciences, humanities, physical education, languages, and maths all have equal and central contributions to make to a student's education. So we're putting them in all different orders because they're all on that same playing field. Mm-hmm. But then we need to think about time, because everything takes time. And I made this mistake this past year. I chose a history curriculum that I thought was going to be 30 minutes a week, and it was actually 30 minutes a day.
That's the difference. Mm-hmm.
Right? I was like, oh. So I had to shuffle some things around. That was a big difference. So if we're thinking, how are we going to fit everything in? We need to look at it strategically. We need to outsource some things. Think creatively of how we're going to manage and fit it all in, or else you're going to spend hours trying to do it all yourself, or, all over town running around trying to get everything in. So you just have to be very strategic here. Anything you wanted to add, Kim, sorry, I'm talking really fast.
No, you're doing great. It's interesting because we do have several workshops that touch on a lot of these points, but where you're going with it is a little different direction. So
I love it.
yeah, they interweave, and the point that we're making is more about scheduling. And I don't have anyone that's been talking about that, so I love
Yeah.
this. Thank
It's
you.
so important. And I think that's where
Mhm.
we get off base, and it's like November or February. And is it Susan Weisbauer that said everyone feels like quitting in November and February?
Usually by February. Yep, yep.
Yeah. And
It's
it's usually because we've like maxed out.
overscheduled, and yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if
Mhm.
we think about it differently from the beginning, then we can hopefully avoid
Right.
some of
And
that.
one of the comparisons that people do about their schedule is comparing their day to a traditional school day. And what you can accomplish at
Mm,
home one-on-one is entirely different than what they can accomplish in the same amount of time with 30 kids.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
mhm,
And when you have multiple kids that you're trying to cater to and plan for, it's totally different than a traditional
mhm.
school.
But that allows you some of that time in there to schedule in play.
Exactly.
Because I'll see people that are like, I don't have time to come to the park because we're not done with our school yet. I'm like, but that's important too.
Yes. And
Mhm,
and who says you can't do some of this, in the evenings or on the weekends? I mean, you have
mhm,
365 days to do
mhm,
this.
mhm,
Well, like I was saying, so the curriculum is going to be the base of your Sunday. It could be the brownie, the cookie, the banana split, the waffle cup, all of these things. We typically name our Sunday after the base, but do you just want a cone? Who just wants to eat a cone? Or would you rather have some ice cream on it or a banana? I
mhm,
mean, bananas are great, but like with ice cream, now you got a banana split. So they really, again, want that ice cream. Kids want,
mhm,
Dr. Meg Meeker is a parenting expert. She is a pediatrician and a parenting expert. And she says over and over, she emphasizes that children just want more of you and your time. So what is that quality of that time that you're doing? Is it that performance, like perform, or participation? They want to participate with you. They want to be connected and be with you. So don't get hung up on the curriculum. It's important and it's useful, but it is a tool. It is a tool for
mhm.
you to use. It's not
It's
the
not a
only part.
master.
It's exactly.
Mhm,
So, in the virtual co-op, we're able to take the pressure off of you for finding a curriculum and teaching it for those enrichment subjects. And that helps you to be more strategic in your planning, and about how you're spending your time planning and teaching all of the core subjects. So that is a good tool resource for you. So when you're thinking about pulling in the curriculum, you need to choose some curriculum that allows for hands-on learning to flourish. So keep this in mind when you're picking curriculum. Is it meaningful? Is it allowing kids to make connections between the different subject areas, connections to the world around them? And is it using multiple modes of learning, multisensory? Are they able to move and act out and touch and listen and hear and all of these different things? Or is it just one sense or one of the senses?
mhm.
I got all jumbled there, but yeah. So multiple modes of learning. So some things to think about as you're putting it together step by step. And then third, we're getting into the toppings. The toppings on our Sunday. These are our hands-on resources. These are those hands-on extras, these things that we can pull in to really make our day and our weeks just flow and not have that distinction between school time and playtime, but how it all kind of comes together. This is where I really I don't know. I feel like I need to get this like trademarked because I feel like this is very kind of unique. But I love what Plutarch says: the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. And this is how we kindle the fire, by making them lifelong learners, by doing what I call sneaky learning. That's my phrase I need to get trademarked. I don't think I came up with that. But but this is these important things that really make you and your family unique. These are lots of different ideas here. We've got, just reading books together, playing board games, acting things out, playing that just really like playful. My kids have made puppets and acted out things that they've learned. And like, I didn't ask them to do that. They just went and did it. But in my mind, I'm like, I know, I'm like, okay, we're learning here. Or just the, when they're building with their Legos, or, hey, I wonder if you could build a like we were learning about the Netherlands, and I was like, we were playing with Legos. I was like, I wonder if you could build a windmill, out of those Legos. Sneaky. So sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
So these are different tools, and different things that you can do to like help them make those natural connections. I don't tell them what they're doing because I don't want them to think that they're performing. I just want them to do these things to just kind of like make their learning part of their lives, because that's the only way that it's going to be really real to them. Okay. So that's why I call it sneaky, because I don't tell them. I don't say, hey, we're going to play bananagrams to practice your spelling words.
Yeah.
No. We don't do that. We just play bananagrams because it's a fun game,
Right.
but it does end up all coming full circle. So we can't think of it as like linear as much. It's all, we can take an aerial view of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I already had this on here, but again, when the atmosphere encourages learning, the learning is inevitable. And that's just so important. I love that Elizabeth Foss wrote that in her book there. So just think that is such a good thing to keep in mind. So the hands-on learning is the third step here. We're adding in these resources that align, things that allow them to think critically, communicate with one another and with you. Like I said, like the puppet shows, that's all communication, working on their communication skills, collaboration, working together, and showcasing that creativity. So when we put it in here, we've got our creative leader at the top, the subject she wants to include, the time she knows it's going to take, and then sprinkled in all of those hands-on resources and hands-on things to make it just her home, just educating all the time, just make it all work together. And again, in our virtual co-op, we can help you with this because each of our lessons has hands-on activities that go along with each lesson. So we don't just teach a skill or a concept. We teach how to do this and then give the activity or an art project or something to do. So even like with music, we're always moving to the music, or we're acting out and playing around with the form of the music or something like that. So it's all hands-on. It's not just watching a lesson and then going about your day. There's actual things to do to make that learning more meaningful. And it just, all of these things, any of these things help to just strengthen those connections between what they're learning and other subject areas. Now, the third mistake that I see is sometimes parents try to do everything themselves. They get into that tunnel vision and they say, I got to do it all myself. But as homeschoolers, we just have the freedom to choose what works best for our children. It's, we get to create and cultivate an education for them. We don't have to be the teachers for everything. We can handpick all of the things that we want to do. David Allen is a productivity expert, and he says you can do anything, but not everything. So it's so true. But we get stuck in that, we get stuck in that way of thinking. So we have our Sunday, and we have it all, built out with the base and the ice cream and the toppings, but we forgot one important part, and that's the bowl. Right? We need to have something to put it on, and this is the structure. The structure, how it's going to all fit in our days and our weeks, and how it's all going to go together. And you might be thinking, how can I do it all? Well, I created the Hands On Homeschool virtual co-op for this. I saw a need for these subjects and knew that I could provide that in a really high quality way to people with the internet. And so that's what I did. And it's been really great to see how we can use these subjects to actually structure our day. So you can start with these subjects, use them to gather your children together and start all together with music, and then kind of like go about your day, or use them during different times of the day. Some of our members have like watched the lesson, then do some of their core subject areas, and then do the activity like during nap time or something for their younger kids, so that they, can get the art supplies and stuff out at that time. So maybe, I don't know, if you're here, if you're watching this all on how to include the enrichment subjects, I don't think this is you, but just in case you're wondering why even include them in the first place, maybe I'll just stick to the core subjects. These are the subject areas that are really going to breathe new life into your homeschool, that are really going to help you to just, use that. That's my second point. Use the other side of their brain. So they kind of get a break from that serious learning, but it's still serious learning. They're still learning. They're making connections and all of that. And of course, there are so many studies out there that have shown how important including the arts and creativity and physical education and all of that is. You can see a lot of those reasons there. I want to introduce you to one of our co-op members. Her name is Amy, and she's going to tell you in her own words about her experience in the virtual co-op this year.
Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm homeschool mom to 5 amazing kids aged 13 all the way down to 4. The 4-year-old isn't truly in school yet, but he totally thinks he is. I have been so overjoyed this school year to be a part of the Hands On Homeschool Co-op. To have classes that are helping my children get subjects like art and music and STEM and PE consistently is amazing. I have never had a school year where they've had those subjects consistently. We've maybe done 2 art classes in our entire homeschool experience. So this has been incredible, and it's been beautiful to see how well the classes work for my wide range of personalities and ages and skills and learning styles. It's just been really, truly mind-blowing for me. It's been such a gift to be able to be a part of this co-op. I love the flexibility. I love that it doesn't matter if we're having a crazy morning and we get started late. I can just go online and start the class when we're ready for it, because it's all right there. It's on demand. That has been so, so helpful. The classes are easy to follow, and the teacher notes that are included that tell you what supplies you need, it's just so user-friendly and so helpful. The classes are so professionally done, and my kids love the teachers. They love them. Last school year was really hard for our family. School was drudgery. It just was. And this has freshened up our school year so beautifully. It's been such a gift to call the kids for school every day and tell them we're starting with art today, or we're starting with music today. And they're so excited to come, and they're excited to start. And by the time we're done with our co-op classes a day, they're ready to move into their other subjects because they're already in that school frame of mind. I am immensely grateful for this opportunity, and I'm so impressed with how Rachel put this together. I think she's done an amazing job, and I think the thing that is probably the most incredible to me, apart from all the other things I already mentioned, is how affordable this is. You're getting so much value for such an affordable cost, and I am just so grateful that we've been able to make this a part of our school year. It has changed so much about how we look at school, and it's changing how much my kids are connecting things between other subjects just because of how these classes have been put together and how they're building on each other. So I'm grateful, and I cannot recommend the Hands On Homeschool Co-op enough.
So that is Amy. She's one of our members, and like she said, she has kids 4 through 14 or something like that. Like, she's got 5 kids, and they all do it together. And that is just one of the things that makes it really unique, is that it's just one price for your entire family. So real quick, I'm going to run through what we offer, what we have. It is a full school year of lessons in music, STEM, art, and PE. There's over 100 lessons in there. It's great for kids. It's adaptable for kindergarten through grade 8. It's all video. It's all pre-recorded. You can access it at any time, and that makes it very self-paced. flexible to your schedule. We have expert teachers. I teach the music and the STEM classes in there. And we have our art teacher, Catherine, who is absolutely fabulous. The kids absolutely love her lessons. And Katie, who is our PE teacher, she has made virtual PE classes so fun and so accessible. So it is really, these have been, they have created some fabulous lessons that are in there. And they're low prep. They're low stress, hands-on activities we teach, and then you get to facilitate their learning and in the hands-on part of it, where they go and do the activities that we provide. We provide support for your whole family. We've got a lot of things in the co-op. You'll see in a second, parent support. So a lot of that is included as well. And not just lessons. It's not just a curriculum. We want it to be a true co-op experience. We have had our members say things like, "You are such an amazing teacher. My kids hang on your every word." Co-op is something we are beyond excited about. Just ordered a bunch of fun materials for music and art. Your work on this homeschool set is incredible. It is so well done. Thank you to all three of you for putting in so much time. And this one, joining this group was the best fresh idea for our 2020 school year. It has been such a joy and so inspiring for my kids. So if you go, this is the link, but if you actually go to the description below this video, there's a link that you can just click and go to the sneak peek and get a sneak peek into our program. But I want to show you real quick what it looks like inside there.
Overview of what is included inside the Hands On Homeschool virtual co-op. This is our main hub. We have a lot of support for the parents over here. And down here are the 4 classes that are included. Up at the top, I have already opened these just to save time and to keep things from getting mixed up and kind of wonky. So first we'll look at PE. In PE, we have a welcome area, some extra bonus activities, and then 12 lessons in the fall and 12 lessons in the spring. So you can see that it is a full year of PE lessons. Next, we'll look at STEM. In STEM, we have an introduction section, as well as the storybook STEM, which we read the novel The Tale of Despero and do 3 STEM challenges, along with additional literature, support, and other projects that are optional. The fall has 12 lessons. In the spring, we do another novel study with STEM challenges and 12 lessons in the spring. Next up is music. We have some introduction area with some sample bonus classes here. We have 12 lessons in the fall and 12 lessons in the spring. And then finally, art. Same format here. Introduction with some bonus lessons, and then 12 in the fall and 12 available in the spring. So that is a quick overview of what is inside the Hands On Homeschool virtual co-op.
All right, and that is all I have to share with you today about how to plan your best year yet and how you can include the enrichment subject areas in your homeschool without a lot of stress or prep or overwhelm. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was enjoyable and you could take away a lot of things from it. And I really hope that you connect with me. And I'd love to see as many of you in the Hands On Homeschool virtual co-op this year.
Well, thank you for bringing this information to us, and I hope a lot of people are inspired to kind of make their own Sunday and add on some of those enrichments. Whether they choose to use the virtual co-op, they can, find lots of other resources too. So,
absolutely.
But this is an excellent tool that they could certainly implement. So I hope a lot of people will get connected to you too. So
yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And
today.
we'll see it. Yep, and we'll see everyone in the next session.
All right, thanks.